this door. There's a lock up top.
An unusual scene unfolded at a local hotel. A room door had remained locked for over a day, with no response from the occupant. Concerned staff tried repeatedly to call and knock, but silence persisted. Police were called, and upon arrival, they cordoned off the hallway and urged the occupant to open the door. Minutes passed, and still the door didn't budge. Guests gathered at the end of the corridor, anxious and curious, watching the tense situation unfold. Some admitted they had never seen anything like it in a hotel. Officers quickly conferred, preparing for a potential emergency. Fearing something serious, they finally broke the lock to investigate. As the door swung open, everyone held their breath, waiting to discover what had happened inside. This rare incident immediately drew attention, with many witnesses recording every moment, turning a quiet hotel morning into an unexpected story.
You're liable for that now.
Step out. This morning, a shocking incident unfolded on a busy roadway, drawing widespread attention both on the scene and online. According to witnesses, local police officers approached a vehicle and ordered the driver to step out. When the driver failed to respond immediately, the situation escalated quickly. Officers proceeded to smash the car window, forcibly remove the man, and begin searching him, all while bystanders recorded the encounter on their phones. But just minutes later, the entire tone of the situation changed. The man calmly presented his identification, revealing that he was an undercover agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, commonly known as the FBI. The revelation left the officers momentarily speechless and stunned those watching nearby. Footage of the incident, including the shattered window and the moment his identity was revealed, spread rapidly across social media, gaining millions of views within hours and sparking intense debate. While some viewers questioned the officers' use of force and decision-making, others suggested the incident could lead to serious internal consequences. Authorities have since confirmed that a full review is underway, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation has reportedly requested a detailed account of the officers' actions. As the video continues to circulate, the incident is fueling public discussion about law enforcement procedures, accountability, and the risks of escalation in high-pressure situations.
Oh, Jamie! Jamie, no! Oh my, no! Oh my God!
Local news reports confirmed that missing Jimmy Gracie has been found deceased. Authorities located his body this Thursday afternoon, March 19th, in the waters of Barcelona's Olympic port. Officials focused their search on this area after Jimmy's wallet was discovered in the water nearby. This time, they still need to officially confirm the identity of the body and determine the exact cause of death. However, according to current lines of investigation, there is no indication of foul play. Forensic analysis will be key to understanding how Jimmy ended up in the water, whether he drowned or had passed away before entering the water. He was last seen around 3 a.m. by friends at a nightclub in Barcelona, and the discovery of his wallet in the water near the location he went missing ultimately led authorities to his remains today.
Oh, wait, hold on. You guys want to? Yeah, she's going to jail for battery on LAR now, so.
Hey, open the door, man. Go ahead, man. Open that door. I don't want you to tear the door up.
Just be careful. I think she got a knife or something, so.
Everybody be smart. Open the door, man.
Hey, give us traffic. Give us traffic as well.
15, give us traffic. I'm having my taser out.
For more than 24 hours, no one inside the hotel room had answered the door. Calls from the front desk went unanswered, and repeated knocks from staff were met with silence. Growing concerned, hotel management finally made the decision to call the police. Within minutes, officers arrived and quickly sealed off the hallway. Standing outside the closed door, they shouted several times, hoping someone inside would respond. But the room remained completely quiet. The tension in the corridor began to build. Guests watched nervously from a distance, whispering among themselves, all wondering the same thing. What was happening behind that door? After several attempts to make contact failed, one officer made the call. If someone inside was in danger, they couldn't wait any longer. Soon after, firefighters stepped forward with their tools, preparing to force the door open. One firefighter held up a screwdriver and nodded to the team. Everyone held their breath. Hands clear, ready? In a matter of seconds, the mysterious door that had stayed closed for over a day was about to be opened. Fear, suspense, and anticipation filled the hallway as all eyes focused on that single moment, when the door would finally reveal what had been hidden behind it.
Y lo llevaron al hospital, pero desafortunadamente, TH se asfixió en el agua durante demasiado tiempo y perdió demasiada sangre. Después de la investigación, la policía descubrió que el sospechoso y la víctima eran compañeros de clase. Los investigadores dijeron, los dos solían ser buenos amigos, pero en los últimos días han tenido conflictos entre ellos. La policía arrestó inmediatamente al sospechoso. Posteriormente, los padres de TH demandaron al sospechoso y pidieron una compensación de $2 millones. ¿Qué tipo de castigo cree que debe recibir el sospechoso? ¿Deberían sus padres asumir la responsabilidad?
A woman slapped a cashier over an order refund dispute. This morning, 32-year-old Karen stormed into the restaurant demanding the cashier process her refund. The cashier had placed her order incorrectly. Video shows Karen standing at the register demanding a refund. However, the cashier stated she would only refund her money if she got out of the restaurant.
No! I want it now! I'm not giving you anything.
The cashier feigned threatening to call the police. Upon hearing this, Karen began verbally attacking the cashier before suddenly slapping her. Karen then turned and walked away. The cashier came out from behind the counter to chase after her. A male server witnessed this and quickly intervened to stop the cashier. Nevertheless, the cashier pursued Karen out of the restaurant. Karen subsequently drove away. Police arrived at the scene, reviewed surveillance footage, and arrested Karen in a parking lot near the restaurant. It remains unclear whether Karen faces any charges. What are your thoughts? Who do you think is at fault here? Share your views in the comments.
A man shot and killed his ex-girlfriend at a convenience store in North Aguazur, Pennsylvania. On January 26th, 54-year-old Maria Socorro was conducting a cash transaction with another man.
Crazy. A woman was accused of kidnapping after taking children from a neighboring house during a fire. In court, the woman stated, "I saw a lot of smoke coming out of the kitchen window. The children were home alone and were screaming for help from the upper floor. I just wanted to save them." However, the prosecution argued that the defendant had entered private property without authorization and removed the minors without their parents' consent. According to state law, under Article 18304, this constitutes interference with custody. The prosecution emphasized that the defendant should have waited for firefighters or the police to arrive instead of acting on her own. However, there was video footage of the house fire, as well as footage showing the children being rescued. The fire department confirmed that the fire started in the kitchen and spread rapidly. If they had waited just a few more minutes, the flames could have reached the second-floor bedrooms. The woman, without the parents present, rescued the children from the fire, preventing a fatal tragedy. The judge ruled immediately. That was not kidnapping, it was an act of heroism. All charges were dismissed at once. What do you think? Do you agree with the judge?
That these similarities serve only as part of the investigative clues and cannot be used to definitively identify the deceased. Meanwhile, police collected potential DNA evidence at Nancy's residence, with results pending. The missing woman's personal belongings and essential medications were left behind, making it difficult to believe she departed voluntarily. Law enforcement stated that determining when the body appeared at the location and whether it connects to the disappearance case is crucial. Any unconfirmed speculation may interfere with the investigation and cause secondary trauma to the family. Internal sources indicate that the possibility of a crime committed by someone familiar with her or someone who knew her habits cannot be ruled out. Until the identity is confirmed, everything remains a possibility. Regardless of the reason, this appears to be a premeditated assault. Let us all pray together.
Where are they now? The kid who went viral for his extremely rare medical condition. This is Amari Stover, and in 2021, a YouTube video showcasing his condition garnered over 24 million views. Amari was born with a rare condition called neurofibromatosis type 1. The condition causes Amari to have huge tumors on his face, which have severely affected his vision and breathing. Due to his tumors, Amari had completely lost vision in his left eye and has limited vision in his right eye. He's been through a lot at such a young age and has sadly experienced tremendous bullying because of his different appearance. Candace, Amari's mother, took him to their local park one day where he was cruelly called a monster by other kids, and he never went back to that park again. People online were shocked of how horribly Amari was treated, with thousands of people coming forward wanting to help. So Amari's mother decided to start a GoFundMe in hopes of raising $120,000. But beyond relief, she was able to raise over $1 million, 10 times more than she had expected. As of today, despite over $1 million being raised for Amari's
Michael. Back then I was young and naive, driven only by a hunger for fame and fortune. I ignored Michael's warnings completely. He wanted me to join his dream island, a place filled with children's laughter and innocence. At the time, I foolishly convinced myself that Michael was just afraid of my rising popularity. I hesitated, and that hesitation changed everything. Diddy saw right through me. He promised me more fame, more success, more of everything I thought I wanted, so I chose him. Just like he promised, my fame skyrocketed. But that was also the moment I started falling into an endless abyss. Michael never truly gave up on me. He kept sending emails trying to pull me back, trying to warn me. I ignored every single one, and that made Diddy furious. When that luxury sports car appeared in front of me, I woke up in Diddy's room. My world collapsed. I felt like a walking corpse, alive, but already dead inside. I tried to reach out to Michael again, but it was useless. By then, Diddy had taken total control over every part of my life. Watching Michael be slandered, abused, and eventually pushed into severe mental illness tore my heart apart, but I was powerless to stop any of it. At one point, I tried to expose their crimes. I poured everything into an album called Yummy. What followed wasn't justice, it was ridicule, harassment, and endless curses. I was branded as crazy, completely broken. One talk show host even humiliated me publicly by mocking me with a song. In the end, all I could do was disappear, hiding away and silently bearing all the pain on my own.
Ella proporcionó comida a los bomberos que protegían la comunidad y usted exige una indemnización, pagarán por ello.
Según la investigación, los bomberos trabajaban turnos de 16 horas, a veces incluso 18 horas al día, con casi ningún descanso. Hacían todo lo posible por proteger la ciudad que tenían detrás. La dueña del camión de comida estacionó su vehículo cerca del área de reunión y preparó tacos y burritos para que los bomberos pudieran disfrutar de una comida caliente durante sus breves descansos. No les cobró nada. Sin embargo, unos días después, recibió una multa de $5,000. La razón fue que había prestado servicios de comida en una zona no autorizada, violando las regulaciones estatales. En el tribunal, el fiscal estatal argumentó que, según el artículo 4712 de la ley estatal, todos los vendedores ambulantes de comida deben cumplir estrictamente con los requisitos de permisos basados en la ubicación. Señaló que la emergencia del incendio forestal no eximía a los proveedores de cumplir con las normas de salud y seguridad. Tras revisar el caso, el juez declaró que el sistema de permisos existe para regular actividades comerciales y no para restringir la ayuda humanitaria de buena voluntad en situaciones de emergencia. La multa fue anulada en el acto. El tribunal determinó que la actuación del gobierno fue irrazonable y vulneró los derechos legales de la dueña del camión de comida y ordenó al Estado pagarle una compensación de $100,000. ¿Qué opinas? ¿Crees que este fallo es justo?
Une mère est assise dans une voiture en train de jouer avec son jeune fils d'une manière inappropriée. Franchement, sur TikTok, on ne peut même pas montrer une bouteille de vin. Rien de tout ça. Donc, clairement, quelque chose ne va pas. Je n'arrive pas à croire que cette vidéo soit encore en ligne. Et des gens la défendent en disant « Oh, elle joue juste ». De vraies mères ne jouent jamais avec leurs enfants de cette façon. Nulle part dans le monde. Tu demandes à cet enfant s'il veut manger quelque chose. Et ensuite, il y a des remarques sur le fait que ça sent mauvais là-dessous. Et tout le reste. Franchement, ce n'est pas normal. Ce n'est pas normal du tout. Je ne sais pas où est sa mère à elle. Je ne comprends pas pourquoi elle est aussi à fond là-dedans. Parce que, quand tu vas sur sa page... Écoutez, c'est TikTok, d'accord? J'essaie de vous le dire sans trop entrer dans les détails. Vous allez devoir aller voir la vidéo par vous-même. Mais je vous le dis, de vraies mères ne font pas ça. Elle ne devrait pas jouer avec son fils de cette manière. Ça suffit, vraiment. Je suis fatigué de voir des choses qui ne sont tout simplement pas normales sur cette application. Et pourtant, TikTok a toujours laissé cette vidéo en ligne.
Screaming and in tears, Lupita's mom
in the store. According to surveillance footage, her ex-husband, 67-year-old Lurivar Jose, walked straight into the store with a weapon and then shot Maria without warning. Maria was shot in the chest but struggled to resist and fought with Lurivar before falling to the ground due to excessive blood loss. However, Lurivar did not let her go and fired several more shots at her until she remained motionless before leaving the scene. A passerby made an emergency call, and when emergency personnel arrived, Maria was pronounced dead on the spot. According to the police report, Lurivar collided with a pickup truck traveling in the opposite direction while driving away on a small road. When the police arrived, he was already dead, and the pickup truck driver was subsequently detained and questioned. The prosecutor claimed that the murder was shocking and had a negative impact. The case is still under investigation. What do you think? Please leave a comment in the comment section.
Where she bought the ticket to cash in her winnings. She thought she won at least $500. She says the clerk in this lucky store took her ticket, scanned it, and the machine sang a winning tune.
It says, a beep. made a sound on the machine, and then a pink sales slip came out, and he just grabbed it.
Amelia says the clerk wouldn't give her that validation slip showing her winnings or return her scratch ticket. After some back and forth, he handed her $500 cash from the register.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But even with that money in hand, she had a gut feeling that something was wrong.
When I called the lottery people and the police,
It would appear that what he did was he took the validation slip, kind of crumpled it up quickly, threw it away or otherwise disposed of it, kept it away from the customer, and attempted to pay her approximately $500 in cash.
Executive Director Mike Sweeney says,
Shut up! Shut up!
At a grocery store parking lot, a father repeatedly beat his toddler son and screamed at him. A bystander recorded the video of this incident, which showed the man's aggressive educational approach to the fullest. 44-year-old James Collins was in the back seat of his truck, shouting at the child and constantly telling him to shut up. During this period, a woman attempted to intervene, and then Collins began to shout at her, telling her to mind her own business. The child's crying drew a crowd of
So it worked. This is Eric. How can I help you? Hey, Eric, it's Hatfield. Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it today. I actually just got arrested.
A dramatic arrest is going viral across social media, and the reason has shocked millions. It started with what seemed like a routine traffic stop. A group of police officers pulled over a man for what witnesses later described as the flimsiest excuse imaginable. The man stayed calm. He simply asked, "What's the reason for the stop?" But instead of answering, the officers suddenly escalated the situation. They yanked him out of his car, slammed him against the hood, and quickly placed him in handcuffs. Then they accused him of resisting arrest. Witnesses say the man never fought back. He never raised his voice, and he never made a single threatening move. One officer even shouted, "Stay down. You're resisting. This is going to end badly for you." But what the officers didn't realize was that they had the wrong person. While still in cuffs, the man calmly asked to make one phone call. The officers assumed he was calling a lawyer, so they let him dial. He even smirked while he made the call. But the moment he spoke, everything changed. "Sir, this is Special Agent Carter. I've been detained by corrupt officers. Request immediate verification." The smiles instantly disappeared. Color drained from their faces, because they had just assaulted and arrested an undercover FBI agent in the middle of an active operation. And in that moment, every officer knew their careers might already be over. Martha was only 13 years old. In her neighborhood, people didn't see a child who needed understanding. They saw a problem. Because of her mental health struggles and occasional emotional outbursts, the neighbors had already given her a label, the crazy girl. Whispers followed her everywhere she went. To them, Martha was just a burden, someone no one really cared about. One afternoon, while walking home, Martha suddenly had an emotional breakdown. Overwhelmed and unable to control her feelings, she collapsed onto the grass beside the road, rolling in the dirt and mud. Instead of helping her, neighbors stood there watching. Some laughed, others shook their heads in disgust. Not a single person stepped forward to help the frightened 13-year-old girl. But what they didn't realize was that they had just made a serious mistake, because they had no idea who Martha's father really was. When he found out what had happened to his daughter, he was furious. And what he did next would make every single one of those neighbors regret the way they treated her. Sometimes, people others look down on are connected to far more power than anyone could imagine. Comment neighbor for part 2.
Oh, wait, hold on. You guys want to? Yeah, she's going to jail for battery on LAR now, so.
Hey, open the door, man. Go ahead, man. Open that part. I don't want you to tear the door up.
Just be careful. I think she got a knife or something, so.
Everybody be smart. Open the door, man.
Hey, give us traffic. Give us traffic as well.
15, give us traffic. I'm having my taser out.
For more than 24 hours, no one inside the hotel room had answered the door. Calls from the front desk went unanswered, and repeated knocks from staff were met with silence. Growing concerned, hotel management finally made the decision to call the police. Within minutes, officers arrived and quickly sealed off the hallway. Standing outside the closed door, they shouted several times, hoping someone inside would respond. But the room remained completely quiet. The tension in the corridor began to build. Guests watched nervously from a distance, whispering among themselves, all wondering the same thing. What was happening behind that door? After several attempts to make contact failed, one officer made the call. If someone inside was in danger, they couldn't wait any longer. Soon after, firefighters stepped forward with their tools, preparing to force the door open. One firefighter held up a screwdriver and nodded to the team. Everyone held their breath. Hands clear, ready? In a matter of seconds, the mysterious door that had stayed closed for over a day was about to be opened. Fear, suspense, and anticipation filled the hallway as all eyes focused on that single moment when the door would finally reveal what had been hidden behind it.
Can I help you?
Yeah, we got a call about a suspicious vehicle in the area, and it matches this description.
What's suspicious?
He said you've been parked in front of his house. You were parked in front of his house for about an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah? Is that suspicious?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. What's going on?
Nothing.
started as a routine traffic stop. A man was driving calmly, unaware that his day was about to change. Without warning, officers pulled him over, approaching aggressively, convinced they'd caught someone who'd simply parked too long. Voices rose, tension spiked, and the confrontation escalated quickly. But they didn't realize who he really was. The man behind the wheel wasn't an ordinary driver. As accusations flew, he made one move that changed everything. He revealed he was part of an undercover FBI operation. Suddenly, silence. Panic spread across the officers' faces. Radios crackled, commands scrambled, and within hours, what began as a simple traffic stop ignited an internal investigation. Badges were questioned. Authority was shaken. Careers hung by a thread. Because this time, they hadn't just stopped the wrong man. They had disrupted the wrong operation.
Let's go, man.
Come on,
Let's go.
I'm coming.
Let's go.
I'm coming.
Let's go.
Hey, call my lawyer, okay?
Go.
Call my lawyer.
Come on.
What started as a routine traffic stop quickly turned into chaos. A man was treated like a criminal, dragged from his car and taken into custody, all under the shocked eyes of bystanders. He sat silently in the back seat, disabled and compliant, insisting he hadn't done anything wrong. The officers demanded his ID. Without verification, they assumed he was connected to an ongoing investigation and forced him into custody. Minutes passed. The man repeatedly asked, "Call my lawyer." But they ignored him. Then, a call came from FBI headquarters. The truth hit hard. The man they had detained was the brother of an undercover FBI agent. The entire shift was suspended, and the officer who used force was immediately fired. This story is a stark reminder. Power should never come before verification. If it weren't for that call from the FBI, would this man still be in handcuffs? Is this policing or a dangerous abuse of authority?
Onlookers, but this did not make James Collins stop what he was doing. Out of concern for the child's safety, a bystander called the police. After arriving at the scene, the police promptly arrested James Collins. He has been charged with first-degree child abuse and is currently being held in the Gwinnett County Jail with a bail of $4,600. The child was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, he only suffered minor injuries and is currently receiving treatment from other family members and the Children's Services Department. This kind of educational approach is really terrifying. How could he bear to treat such a toddler like this? I hope he will never come into contact with this child again from now on. What's your opinion on this? What kind of punishment should this father receive?
A mom with a baby stroller steps to the side of the road to allow a car to pass. Then, the unfathomable. The wrong-way driver plows right into them. They fly up into the air and crash down onto the car. The driver flees.
I remember hitting the windshield. I broke it with my head. And even worse, I thought my child was dead.
As Rachel was walking down the street with her son Charlie, she locked eyes with the driver, and two things went through her mind. She believed he was aiming right for them. You picked this thing up and...
I don't think I could even do it now. I don't know how I got it into the air.
But you threw it in, you tried to throw it into the air.
Yeah.
Baby Charlie suffered a tire mark on the back of his head.
And his head is actually grazed by the front left tire.
Rachel was scraped up and injured 3 discs in her back. A Good Samaritan who saw what happened crashed his truck into the 16-year-old fleeing driver. But what happened next is leaving people outraged. The driver pleaded guilty to assault and hit and run and was sentenced to only 5 to 7 months at a juvenile detention camp.
That, to me, seems almost like a light sentence. You try to kill 2 people, and you get 5 months in a juvenile camp. Please stop.
A man picked up his wife and threw her towards the TV like a rag doll while she desperately begged, "Please don't do this." All of this happened in front of their 5-month-old child, who witnessed the entire scene but was powerless to intervene, leaving an indelible traumatic memory. The man is 31-year-old Zach Stacy, a former New York Jets running back. Later, he was only sentenced to 1 month in prison after admitting to the crime of criminal injury. The newly exposed video shows the severity of the incident, where they had a heated argument over a rent payment issue. His wife, Kristen Evans, attempted to escape, but he chased after her and used a trash can to smash the car, even grabbing the car's wiper. According to a home surveillance video, Zach first hit Evans twice on the back of the head with an unidentified object, then picked him up and threw him heavily towards the TV. Please. Evans can be heard constantly pleading with him to stop. Even in front of their 5-month-old child, Zach continues to commit violence. Afterwards, Evans said in an interview that she didn't want Zach to stay in prison for even a day. No one wants to send their son's father to prison. Zach was charged with serious assault and criminal damage and sentenced to 1 month in prison. At present, this mother and son are receiving psychological and legal support. Do you think he should not go to jail?
A woman was attacked by her ex-boyfriend on the street, despite having submitted a restraining order against him to the court.
The surveillance video showed that after getting out of the car, the man quickly ran towards the victim and pinned her to the ground, repeatedly attacking her face. Even after she ran to the car in panic, the man still chased her and opened the car door to continue attacking her. Finally, after more onlookers arrived, he got into the car and fled the scene. Subsequently, the police identified the man as 33-year-old Arthur Barbosa and found that he was involved in at least 10 cases of assault. According to the victim, she and Arthur had broken up for several weeks. During their relationship, Arthur often used violence against himself. At that time, he called the police, but the police took no action. Even after submitting a restraining order to the court after the breakup, it had no effect. Arthur still frequently harassed her. Currently, Arthur has been detained and will be charged with multiple assault charges. If measures had been taken earlier, would such a thing not have happened? What punishment do you think this man should receive?
Let's see what happens.
A police officer had an argument with a 61-year-old man, deliberately provoking and encouraging him to slap himself, and then arrested him on charges of assaulting a police officer. This incident occurred in Harris County, Texas. At the time, 39-year-old Deputy Sheriff Ellison Collins was conducting an inspection at the entrance of an IHOP restaurant, and 61-year-old Jerry Allen had a dispute with Collins over parking violations. Collins could never find a legitimate reason to arrest Allen, so he suddenly deliberately provoked and tempted Allen to take action, emphasizing that the other party has the right to do so.
Slap the shit out of me and get it off your chest.
Allen hesitated for a moment, but Collins continued to urge.
No, I'm giving you permission to slap the shit out of me, get it off your chest, and see what happens.
However, as soon as Allen's hand touched Collins' face, Collins slapped Allen hard and pushed him to the ground.
Don't fuck. Hey, turn around. Get up. That was stupid.
Subsequently, Allen was handcuffed and arrested on charges of assaulting a police officer, and Collins and his companions even mocked Allen.
I ain't got slapped in years, dog. I know he was dumb enough to actually do it.
Later, the grand jury brought charges against Collins, and he was transferred to another position. But in 2025, Collins was reinstated and awarded the title of Outstanding Team Member by the Harris County Police Department in recognition of his service to others.
A courier maliciously attacked a 75-year-old grandmother in a subway tunnel in Novosibirsk, resulting in serious injuries and death. On December 3rd, 75-year-old Marina prepared to take the subway home. An unsettling scene shows a delivery man suddenly appearing behind her, quickly catching up with her and kicking her in the face without warning. Marina fell to the ground and slammed her head against the wall. Then he walked away as if nothing had happened. A resident found Marina unconscious and called an emergency number. Rescue personnel immediately rushed to the scene, but unfortunately, Marina was pronounced dead on the spot. After the video went viral online, a local resident recognized him and stopped him on the road not far from the incident site, then called the police and arrested him. He was confirmed to be 25-year-old Dmitry. According to police reports, Dmitry often spat at passers-by at night, most often towards unarmed girls. That night was his last day as a courier. 3 days later, the police accused him of intentional assault and injury, but he refused to plead guilty in court on the grounds of mental disorder. In the end, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison and compensated the victim's family with $5,000 in damages. Do you think he should receive a longer sentence?
A man attacked a woman for no reason and pushed her down the stairs. The surveillance camera captured this scene. 27-year-old Vistukov calmly followed behind a woman, then suddenly kicked her from behind, causing her to fall face down and roll down the stairs. The group of people who were with him walked away nonchalantly, showing no sign of worry. They even picked up the wine bottle that had been left on the ground. At that time, a passerby who was at the bottom of the stairs saw this and immediately ran over to help. The woman was subsequently sent to the hospital and diagnosed with severe fractures and contusions. The woman is 26-year-old Susanna, a mother of 2 children. She said she didn't know Vistukov and was just on her way home from work at that time. After this video was exposed, it aroused strong public outrage and a global search for Vistukov was launched. A few days later, Vistukov was arrested on his way to escape. In court, when the video was played, he showed no emotion at all. The prosecutor denounced the attack as a cowardly and unjustified act. Ultimately, Vistukov was sentenced to 2 years in prison.
The world's youngest prisoner was just 13 years old, and the crime he committed will shock you. Michael seemed like a quiet boy, but every day he would walk into a small grocery store in Texas with his backpack. This recurring behavior soon aroused the suspicion of the clerk, Sarah. Her concerns prompted her to start observing him more closely and discreetly whenever he entered the store. Sarah noticed Michael buying multiple packs of baby wipes daily, far more than any child his age could possibly need. No boy his age would require that many wipes, especially every single day. She instantly sensed something was terribly wrong, breaking out in a cold sweat. Convinced something was amiss with this boy, she made a bold decision. One evening, after Michael left the grocery store, Sarah quietly followed him. After walking for about 10 minutes, Michael suddenly stopped in a deserted area. What Sarah saw next shocked her deeply. She immediately pulled out her phone to call the police, firmly demanding that Michael be locked up for life. What Michael did with those wipes will leave you speechless. Follow me and type wipes in the comments to watch part 2. What do you think he did with the wipes? Share your guesses in the comments below.
You son of a An airport employee was beaten by the manager while attempting to retrieve personal belongings. After being fired, video shows Shakoria Ellie attempted to enter the counter, but was stopped by the manager wearing a red polo shirt. Ellie immediately pushed him away and attempted to enter again, but was pushed back by the manager wearing a green shirt for a distance. Ellie lifted a chair and attempted to attack the man in green clothes, but the chair was taken away. Ellie didn't intend to give up yet, so she rushed towards the manager in the red polo shirt again. The manager threw her out, and Ellie immediately got up and beat him. The man in green tried to stop him, but was slapped by Ellie. Shortly after turning around and leaving, Ellie jumped over the counter. The two managers immediately subdued her, and then Ellie left with her belongings. The manager called the emergency number after Ellie left. After the police arrived at the scene and saw that she was black, they immediately arrested her without questioning the reason. According to the investigation, Ellie wanted to retrieve her personal belongings after being fired due to a dispute with a colleague over the temperature of her espresso. The report shows that officials have not made any charges against her. Who do you think is at fault for this matter?
A shocking video shows an Army sergeant at Fort Hood violently assaulting a 3-year-old boy, resulting in serious injuries. This incident occurred in Waco, Texas. According to the boy's grandmother, 29-year-old Paul Thames recently moved into his mother's home on the 3rd floor of an apartment building and began dating the boy's mother. That night, the boy's unwillingness to learn the alphabet caused Thames to become furious. At the beginning of the attack, he angrily moved the boy to the 2nd floor, where he physically assaulted him. It can be seen that Thames first punched the boy hard on the back, then covered his face with his hands and choked him, ultimately causing the boy to suffocate. After the assault, he was taken to the 1st floor to stay away from his mother's sight. The entire assault process was captured by the doorbell camera and ultimately handed over to the Waco police by the homeowner. The police arrived at the scene that night and arrested Thames. The boy was urgently taken to the hospital, where doctors claimed that his neck was fractured and he was receiving treatment. According to the court report, Thames attempted to cover up his actions before being arrested and was charged with child harm and aggravated assault. He is currently being held in McLennan County Jail. The case is still under investigation. What punishment do you think he should receive? A man in Chester County, Pennsylvania, maliciously attacked a disabled person with cerebral palsy outside a 7 convenience store. Karma gave him the punishment he deserved. On May 10th, 22-year-old Jones drove a white SUV to the entrance of a convenience store. He is a mild cerebral palsy patient. The video shows that when Jones walked into the store, 29-year-old Barry Baker began to imitate Jones's walking posture. A few minutes later, Jones walked out of the store and Baker continued to mock him, following Jones to his car. Without warning, he viciously punched Jones in the face, and then Jones fell on the hood of the car. However, after the video went viral online, the police began to search for him. Someone discovered that he had his own business, so they bombarded him with phone numbers.
This will be their only communication. They're done communicating, done negotiating. Here's the deal, and that's it.
Are you fucking serious right now?
One of Lupita's friends has been arrested by police. She was one of the girls who had been with Lupita before the tragedy occurred. Police stated that after the vehicle plunged into the canal, this girl managed to escape from the water, but failed to provide any assistance to the victim. It took 15 hours after the accident for the girl's mother to learn of her daughter's disappearance. During this period, the girls believed to be Lupita's friends neither actively participated in the search nor promptly informed the family of the incident. Police noted that the victim's relatives attempted to contact one of the girls simply to understand what exactly happened. However, the girl promptly deleted them as friends and set her social media accounts to private. This evasive behavior deeply unsettled those speaking out. Based on these critical actions, police ultimately focused their attention on one of the girls, reasoning that such deliberate disengagement would be unnecessary if it were merely an accident. Subsequent arrest actions followed. For Lupita's family, what they need most remains a long overdue explanation.
When Iron Man Rodtang breaks into a smile, it means he's seen through his opponent's traps. Mexican fighter Edgar Tabares is a tactician with superb leg techniques. From the start, he executes a clear strategy, controlling distance and racking up damage with multi-angled, feint-laden kicks. His leg work is indeed tough to defend against. Even when Rodtang grabs his legs, he swiftly counterattacks with a spinning elbow. This should have been a hidden killer move, but he used it too often. So Rodtang smiled, for he'd already figured it all out. When Rodtang pressed forward again, cornering his opponent against the cage, an unexpected scene unfolded.
Not let your opponent get the last shot. Keys to victory is working those angles. Being stuck here on the fence. Oh, wow.
It was like something straight out of a video game, repeating the same move over and over until it's exposed.
Too many times, steps right through with an elbow. You go to the well too many times and the well is dry, come with the spin elbow. Rodtang blocked it immediately, come back with the kick, drag it, go to the body, block the spin elbow, come right back at the counter elbow.
Dean, put the gun down.
The local police in Colorado received an emergency call from a woman. She claimed that her husband had suddenly experienced a mental breakdown and was attempting suicide. She requested the officers' assistance to help her husband. However, when the officers arrived and located the man, they found him holding a gun to his own forehead.
Drop the gun, sir! Drop the gun, man. What's going on?
At this moment, the two officers continued to patiently try to de-escalate the situation, doing their best to prevent it from escalating further. But what exactly led to the involvement of 50 officers and the eventual decision to cover the suspect with gunfire? Let's continue to find out.
Please don't do this, man. Please don't do this. Nobody wants to hurt you. Nobody wants to see you hurt, man. Thank you. Please set the gun down.
Hey, D, man, the more you keep popping rounds off, the more I can't guarantee your safety, man.
Oh, drop the gun!
Drop the gun, D!
The man's emotions completely spiraled out of control, and he fired several rounds into the roof of his own car. This escalated the situation even further.
Hands up! Don't move! I said don't move! Officer, I'm a U.S. Marshal. My credentials are in your hand. Don't play games with me! Step back! You're pointing your weapon at a federal officer. Think carefully.
Wait, check the ID. It's real. He's legit.
Unit 24, identity confirmed, repeat confirmed, do not detain.
This traffic stop was supposed to last 2 minutes. Instead, it nearly ended a man's life and destroyed a police career. The blue and red lights exploded behind a black SUV on a quiet street in Atlanta. Elijah Grant, a 37-year-old U.S. Marshal, pulled over calmly. He had just finished grocery shopping, milk, bread, fruit, lunch for his daughter. Minutes earlier, he had testified in court against a major drug ring. Now, all he wanted was to go home, but the officer walking toward his window had already made up his mind. Officer Wade Miller approached with his hand on his gun. Cold eyes, rigid posture. "License and registration," he said sharply. Elijah moved slowly. "Officer, I want to let you know. I'm a U.S. Marshal. My ID is in my jacket." Miller didn't listen. "A U.S. Marshal," he scoffed. "What are you doing around here?" Elijah handed over his badge. That should have ended everything. It didn't. "You matched the description of a suspect," Miller said. "Black male, black SUV, possibly armed." Elijah's heart dropped. "Officer," he said calmly, "you're holding my badge. You can verify it right now." Instead, Miller ordered him out of the vehicle. Elijah complied, hands up, no resistance, and then everything went wrong. Miller slammed Elijah against the SUV. Groceries spilled onto the street. When Elijah instinctively pulled his arm back, Miller drew his gun, point blank. at a federal officer's chest. Time froze. A grocery bag rolled across the pavement. Elijah raised his hand slowly. "You're pointing a weapon at a federal officer," he said. "Think very carefully. This will end your career." Miller's partner hesitated. "Wait. Check the ID. It's real." Then the radio crackled. "Dispatch confirms. U.S. Marshal Elijah Grant. Do not detain." Silence. Miller's face went pale. He lowered the gun and muttered, "Just doing my job." Elijah looked him dead in the eye. "No," he said quietly. "You were doing your prejudice." He drove away. But the story didn't end there. A witness had recorded everything. Within hours, the video was everywhere. A calm black man. Hands raised. A city cop screaming with a gun drawn. America erupted. By morning, the Atlanta Police Department had suspended the officer. 3 days later, a public hearing was held. The video played on a giant screen. When it ended, the room was silent. Then the verdict came. Officer Wade Miller was terminated immediately. When Elijah walked outside, a crowd applauded, but he raised his hand. "This isn't about revenge," he said. "It's about respect, for the badge, for the law, and for every person who deserves to make it home alive."
I have money for you. Okay. I'm gonna smack don't you?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but please do not watch the fake UPS delivery driver video. Trust me, I am not kidding. Please take my word for it. For those of you that may not have heard about the situation, not too long ago, a family of 5 consisting of a mother, father, a 20-year-old son, and 2 young children were recently robbed by 3 men pretending to be UPS delivery drivers. Things took a terrible turn, and the mother, father, and the 20-year-old son ended up losing their lives, and the 2 young children witnessed it all. There was cameras all inside of the family's house, and that footage was recently released. With the full footage being released, a bunch of people have started to upload it here onto TikTok and on every other social media platform as well, and it is just something that no one should see. It is just absolutely devastating. So once again, just please take my word for it. I really am not too sure how people are getting away with, uploading the full footage of the incident here on TikTok and on every social media platform, but somehow people are able to, and yeah, just stay away.
Update: a woman held captive has been found. The Nancy Guthrie missing person case has progressed. A new image has been released of the suspect believed to have abducted Nancy Guthrie. Today, a tip-off from a citizen came in. The information described the abandoned house as being far from residential areas outside downtown Tucson. The citizen said he heard faint female voices inside the abandoned house as he approached. Investigators analyzed that Nancy Guthrie could be held somewhere within a 700-mile radius of Tucson. Police quickly arrived and surrounded the house. When they broke down the door and entered, a scene unfolded. The house was clean and appeared to still be inhabited, but they found no one, not even Nancy Guthrie. Everything seemed to be at a dead end. Suddenly, a faint cry was heard, traced back to a hidden cellar beneath the floor. The door was flung open, revealing a shocking sight. A woman bound in iron chains. The woman wasn't Nancy Guthrie, but she weakly pointed to a dark corner of the cellar, whispering, "There's one more." Discuss Nancy Guthrie below and follow me for further updates. Están diciendo que Neverland es donde Michael Jackson llevó a los niños para protegerlos de lo que se hacía en la isla de Epstein. Y porque él se oponía a su régimen, lo castigaron y cambiaron la historia. Hicieron que pareciera que él era el abusador, cuando en realidad eran ellos los abusadores. Él estaba protegiendo a los niños. Estaba protegiendo a las celebridades. Celebridades como Macaulay Culkin, que han hablado para defender a Michael Jackson. Todo esto tiene sentido, finalmente encaja. Este hombre ha estado muerto por tanto tiempo. Pero ahora todo tiene sentido. No solo protegió a los niños de lo que les hacían. Y sabes lo que digo, hay que tener cuidado con las redes sociales. Pero también los protegió del abuso social y emocional, como cuando aconsejó a Britney Spears que saliera de la tutela de su padre. Este hombre fue un salvavidas. Los que son como yo, ayúdenme a verificar esto. Quiero asegurarme de que sea cierto. Pero esto es lo que he oído hasta ahora. Y todo tiene sentido.
This fight gave Mike Tyson one of the toughest tests of his career, because his opponent walked in with something nobody could predict:
When Mike Tyson walked into the ring on December 16, 1995, it was more than just another fight. It was his second bout since getting out of prison earlier that year, and fans were still wondering, was Iron Mike really back?